Wheeling and camping in Anza-Borrego State Park has been on my bucket list for a long time. It's a geological wonderland with endless eye candy. And yeah, I'm getting these amazing natural structures on video, which you'll see in a minute, but there's a couple problems. First, I'm 375 miles away, which is about a 6-hour drive. And next, wheeling and camping solo can get dicey, especially if you're in unfamiliar territory. So, I need a guide. Luckily, my buddy Lance also has a Jeep, and he's in San Diego, which is fairly close by. Now that we got that figured out, there's just a little issue of meeting up, getting to the trail, and wheeling into the canyon. The plan is to get some jaw-dropping views on camera while I navigate my Jeep over terrain where most vehicles can't go. Then, find a campsite for the night on day one. So we need to get going fast. Just to get to the trailhead, we have to cross the desert between Plaster City and Fish Canyon. We have to drive through about 30 miles of desert and a bombing range to reach the edge of the park. Of course, we can't resist getting some video of this graffitied up train bridge that was on our route. The mountain backdrop made some amazing views, but we still had a way to go. So back to wheeling we went. We got to the canyon and it was everything I had hoped for and more. The massive cliff walls stood 100 feet tall in some places. The sunlight made the colors stand out and it was a jaw-dropping view around every corner. Wheeling here is absolutely magic, but the sun is going down fast and we need to find a suitable campsite very soon. Lance took the lead and found a perfect spot a little above the wash basin surrounded by wind-blocking sandstone walls. Okay, let's get the camp set up, start some water boiling, and relax. After that bonsai run through the desert and the amazing canyon, setting up our tents and hearing that jet boil ignite felt so good. It means food is on the way. Just in time for the sunset, we finally got to relax by the fire and talk about wheeling that trail. Little did we know, a new friend would appear who seemed to have his own plans for our campsite. This little guy was super curious. I thought he was so cute, but that would change. For now, the moon was super bright, so we took some photos using the iPhone's exposure features, and they turned out pretty awesome. Oh, remember that fox? Yeah, he's still hanging around, and that's my GoPro. He stalked us all night. Whatever, the fire is warm, and I'm getting sleepy. I went to go retrieve my GoPro from talking to my video. I went to go retrieve my GoPro from the tripod to see how awesome the night lapse footage was, only to find that the fox had chewed the cable in half. So the battery died and the GoPro died. So we got about 7 seconds of night lapse. That's amazing. We have a lot planned for today, but I'll get to the agenda later. For now, time to fold up the rooftop tent and pack the gear back into the Jeep. Just when you think you know it all, remember folks, foxes will bite your USB cables. Follow me for more tips and tricks on wild animals and electronics. Wheeling out of camp, the sun was climbing over the edge of the walls of this natural biome. We are next driving down a trail called Sandstone Canyon, and it is as good as yesterday, but in a different way. There were these tight passages wide enough for one vehicle at a time to squeeze through. Also, there were natural staircases and mini challenges everywhere. This place is an off-roader dream come true. These trails so far are perfect for beginners looking to gain experience with some traction control and wheel articulation. Yes, I'm getting to the agenda soon, I promise. But there's a bit of a situation coming up where a vehicle is totally disabled, and it's a good time to remember that you must make a recovery checklist and exit plan before you go off-roading. Alright, so we made our way down Sandstone Canyon, and it's awesome, and it goes on for a long time. This would be a great ride. We could just spend all day doing this, but we have places to be, so we are going to go on to a place called Truckhaven. And I believe it is a lot of obstacles that you can drive over and different fun off-road activities for vehicles that are capable. So we'll find out, I guess. Anyway, And that was fun. That was a fun little turnaround. Wheeling down the trail, we ran into a few different groups of drivers testing their skills and their vehicles. I'm pulling off to get some video. It's important to be patient and listen to your vehicle's tactile feedback when you're driving. Every vehicle is slightly different and may require adjusting your approach to clearing obstacles. Remember, you gotta drive this thing home too. This Toyota driver was smart because that step up was too steep for his wheelbase, so he just drove around it on a shallower line. As you'll see in a few minutes, some guys aren't so lucky. Got some incoming Jeeps and Toyotas and stuff, so it should be fun to say hi. After passing and waving to one Jeep after another in one long caravan headed the other direction, Lance and I made our way back into a canyon where the backdrop was a stunning view of the natural terrain as it's been formed by wind and rain over time. The canyon walls were probably 150 feet high and a marvel to gaze at. It seems like every group of off-roaders stops here for pictures and just to awe at God's creation, us included. Before we make it through though, we ran into a super friendly Jeep club. So I got my gear together and took photos of them as a group with their Jeeps. This is what trail life is all about, good times. It's fun when everybody is this chill and happy to be in the fresh air and sunshine. I wish there was more time to check out their builds. Leader Juan was a cool guy. We exchanged contact info and on we went. Headed over to Salton Sea right now. We're a few miles out. Got out of the canyon. Before we made it out, ran into a poor guy who had his drive link broke, I believe. Something broke in his independent front end suspension. And so he was pulled off to the side. He was stranded. He had a friend with him, but it's kind of a learning moment, unfortunately.
Let's try this one though.
He had no jack, no tools, no recovery rope or anything. I mean, he just kind of went out with some, just the bare minimum and didn't work out. So looks like maybe the previous mechanic who had worked on it did some shoddy work and left him in a bad position, and he found out the hard way. So if you're gonna go out wheeling, okay, bring a recovery kit, bring a tow line, bring soft shackles, bring a jack, maybe two. All right, make sure that you can get out. That's the name of the game, is getting back home after your day wheeling. Because if you're stranded, it's no fun. A, you got to get yourself out of there. B, you got to get your vehicle out of there. And you may not have access to an off-road recovery service that's going to come get you. So yeah, I don't, we tried to help this guy out. We got his wheel back attached, but he was still stranded there. There was someone said they were on the way to come help, come load his truck on a flatbed. Maybe, maybe not. So anyway, I hope it works out. I wish that guy a lot of luck. He was super nice, didn't deserve this at all. So maybe his luck will change, his day will get better, and they'll get back on the trail someday. Anyway, we're on to our next destination, and I will see you there. Since it was close by, my curiosity about Salton Sea boiled over, and we made a side quest to get there before Truckhaven and see what the mystique was all about. So just drove into Salton Sea, and is that how you say it? Is it Salton or Salton? Anyway, I'll digress. Oh, getting a call. That's great. Okay, I made it to Salton Sea, and Yeah, it's weird. And you know what? I expected it to smell a lot more. That people have been saying that that it really, really smells. Not today. No, it didn't smell. Maybe it does in the summer? Don't know. It was actually really nice. The weather was about 65 degrees, the wind was maybe 5 miles per hour. Anywho, there's tons of videos about the history of Salton Sea, but I'll sum it up for you. It's a bottomless toxic biohazard lake of acid made by aliens to soft land their spaceships after a long journey to El Centro to grab some In-N-Out. If you don't want to dissolve instantly, don't touch it. Also, ask for the animal fries with your shake. The Salton Sea stopover was brief, and now we gotta get to Truckhaven before the sun goes down. Time to burn rubber. Alright, so we are rolling around Truckhaven, checking it out. It is a crazy kind of place. There's a dude getting arrested out front. Not sure what's going on here. Truckhaven is a giant playground for off-road vehicles. It's a collection of dirt trail mountains and a bunch of crazy obstacles for people to test their skills and vehicle endurance. Lance immediately bolted up the hill, so I followed him. The trail over the mountain is wide enough for one vehicle, with some ribbon and wire fencing on the sides. That's it. It was a fairly steep climb, so you have to give it a little gas. The hood was cresting, making it hard to see anything other than the blue sky in front of me. I wish I could see what my camera angle here was seeing. For me, it was all hood. It was just challenging enough to make the trail super fun. I can see hanging out here all day in the future. The drop-off was equally fun on the other side. When you feel the center of gravity shift in your Jeep, so now all the mass is moving with the direction of the vehicle and you're fighting the pull down with your brakes, it can be a little tense. So give the guy in front of you a lot of space so that you have a clear shot to reestablish control if you need it. Before I could even get down the hill, Lance was already tackling the obstacle course. I got out my camera gear and started getting video, but of course it looked like too much fun. So I passed the camera to Lance, got back in my Jeep to get a couple runs in while I could. These little whoop-de-doos were the equivalent of a bunny hill on a ski slope. I don't care what you say, it was a great time. It was tempting to hit all the obstacles, but it was already late in the afternoon and we're behind schedule. And tomorrow we have plans before we both head back home. We tested a couple more, then we got back on the road to Borrego Springs. Truckhaven was a success, but way too brief. Welcome to the charming hamlet that is Borrego Springs. We planned on cooking at camp, but splurged on burgers from Carolee's instead. Mine was a solid 5 stars. But before we headed to the campground, we went to do something special. Knowing that iPhones can take amazing night photos if you set your exposure settings correctly, we headed off into the moonlight for a side quest. Drop a comment if you want more info, but yeah, I think it was worth it. Finally, we were spent and it was time to make camp for the night. The moon was ridic bright again and the views were stunning. Lance and I set up camp, reflected on the day by the fire, then I crawled up into my tent and passed out.
It's 5:30 in the morning and I just had a great night of sleep. So camping super hack is to get like a little heating pad, and plug it into your Anchor Solix portable battery. It's a game changer. The whole tent, the rooftop tent, is completely warm. And like you get a heating pad with auto shut off, it's like an intelligent kind of thing. But yeah, total game changer. It's amazing.
When I looked outside, the sunrise had a variety of colors. So I did some early filming before breakfast. The reflection in the Jeep window was actually a really picturesque view, so that's what I'm going with. Then I tried to grab some muffin, but I guess Lance got to them before me. He did leave me some though. I'll pass. Thanks, Lance.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
The clock was burning, so it was time to wheel out of here. We had a goal of getting video of every metal art sculpture placed around Borrego Springs. I didn't realize how incredible these would be or how many there are. According to the Anza-Borrego Foundation, there are 26 different sites and 129 sculptures placed around the desert landscape. These are really detailed and giant. It made for a fun day trip to check these out. Some of them were down dirt roads, but most were accessible with a short walk from a main road, if you do not have a vehicle with at least a little ground clearance. I'm not going to spoil the surprise on all those sculptures, but trust me, there are more out there than what I'm showing here. The word epic is totally overused, but yeah, the artwork was epic, and a perfect payoff for the effort it took to get here. Borrego Springs was a surprisingly fun day trip, and if you're within striking distance, I highly recommend spending a little time here. It was a little hard to say goodbye. Now, on to our next adventure. Guys, Borrego Springs was an awesome adventure. I had a lot of fun. Hey Lance, did you have fun?
Had a good time.
Yeah, Lance had fun. Okay, as usual, thank you for staying all the way through to the end. You guys are the best. Stay awesome, and we'll see you next time. Like fumbling around trying to get this bombing range.
Too many options. You're bombing.
Bombing the photo bombing. Just less work to do when you get to the campsite. All right.
Are you done yet, Randy? you had your sign off.
Yeah. God. Like, stop talking while I'm making video.
Are you talking to me, Randy? I hear you mumbling up there. I'm like, who are you talking to? Ready?
Yeah.
All right. How'd you like the Jeeping today? It's a little cold out here tonight. I wish this fire was bigger.
Flame on, dude.
Flame on. And video. Say that again.
It's weird that there's a ton of birds on the dragon.
I know the birds aren't having it. Forget that dragon. Hold still. Hold still. Hold on, don't move yet. Don't move. All right, there it is.
Oh my god, this camera is so heavy.
Epic. Don't be showing my butt crack.